Welcome back to the library. This will be our final session together. Today we'll be spending about 20 minutes finishing our research on famous Oklahomans, and then we will learn about the legacy project that we will be working on next. Go ahead and follow the same steps as before to log into Google Classroom. You'll see that I'm there already. Click on that About link. Go to your third grade website, Social Studies, Famous Oklahomans. I'm going to hand out your legacy project notes that you began at our last session together. Your classroom teacher and I will be available to help anyone who needs it. I'll pause the video here and we'll finish our research for the next 20 minutes. Okay. Now that you have completed your research, congratulations by the way, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next part of our project. Let's go back to the Google Classroom and we're going to click on this document, this Google Doc, My Own Legacy. Now, this is the digital copy. You'll have a printed copy so that you can write on it. You're going to put your name at the top. And here are the instructions. Write a few sentences describing the legacy you wish to leave. How do you want others to remember you? Consider what you wish to accomplish. Maybe it's something having to do with art or music or perhaps discoveries that you've made, athletics, personal traits, academic contributions, and so forth. What goals can you set that will help you create your legacy? This information will be included in your legacy project. So as you're completing this next part, I want you to think about some of the things that you learned about the legacy left by the famous Oklahoman you researched. Are there traits that are similar to something that you would want to be a part of your legacy? Or maybe there's some differences. Let's go ahead and take about 10 minutes and we're going to start writing our notes down on this sheet of paper to kind of start your own ideas about your own legacy. This is just a rough draft. You're going to actually complete your final draft and put it into your final legacy project. So I'm going to pause the video again and we will complete this part. Great job taking notes on your own legacy. I'm really impressed with some of the attributes that I see in your legacy project or your own legacy documents. Let's go ahead now and go back to our Google Classroom. There's one last thing that I wanted to look at together today, and that is our legacy project outline. This is actually outlining the project that will be your final report of all the information that you have been researching on your famous Oklahoman, and it will also include the information that you just wrote down on your My Own Legacy page. So you'll see that the first thing is we're going to choose your project format. You can use Google Slides or PowerPoint, maybe Powtoon, or any other kind of video, perhaps in the format of a news report or a music video. You're going to create a project that includes the information from your research in an accurate and interesting way. You can look on Google Classroom for an example. I'm going to actually share that example here with you shortly, but you can go to your Google Classroom and it'll be posted there as well and on the About page. Here are the parts of the project. You will have a title for your project, important and interesting facts for your legacy project outline written in complete sentences. So this is all of that research that you just completed. Please include one or more pictures of the person that you researched. And here's that important legacy paragraph right there. This is what your own legacy is going to be. The bibliography, like we talked about, and I'm going to show you how to do that part. So let's just quickly go back to our Famous Oklahomans webpage. Click on Will Rogers. You'll see here the references to the articles that we used for our research of Will Rogers. You can copy and paste these references straight from my page and put it onto yours, onto your project. You'll notice it's the name of the author, the title of the article, the title of the magazine, the other information about its date, and the page numbers. This one includes a website because it's a web-based article. So that gives you a little idea of how to include that information on your bibliography. Now don't forget to be creative. It's also important to check your project for errors in spelling, capitalization, and punctuation, and to ensure that you're writing complete sentences that make sense. Your teacher, Mrs. Naranjo, is going to give you a due date, and she will write that on the outline for you. So that's what your project is going to be. Let me go ahead and show you an example of a project that I made that includes all of the research that we completed together. Here's my title page, Will Rogers by Mrs. McAdams. This page shows us his early life, and my complete sentences say, Will Rogers was born on November 4th, 1879, on a ranch in the Indian Territory. He was the youngest of 8 children. Both of his parents had Cherokee heritage. Rogers was only 10 when his mother died. Will Rogers left school early but never stopped learning. He worked as a cattle rancher and developed skills with a lariat. Do you guys remember what a lariat is? It's that rope that's used as a tool with cattle. In his lifetime, Will Rogers traveled the globe to South America, South Africa, Russia, Italy, and across the United States. He had many accomplishments. These are just a few. Will Rogers held a Guinness World Record for using 3 ropes at once. He was an actor in Wild West shows and 71 movies, including the one I pictured here, Steamboat Round the Bend. He wrote 6 books and 3,600 news articles, too. Okay, this is the important part. Will Rogers' legacy. Will Rogers is remembered for his humor, friendly manner, and adventurous spirit. He was a great entertainer that died too early. He was flying with Wiley Post in Alaska when his plane crashed on August 15th, 1935. I thought that was interesting, so that's why, and important, so that's why I put it in there. As Douglas Watson, the author of one of the articles, wrote, that Will Rogers will always be remembered as Oklahoma's dearest native son. My legacy. I would like to be remembered as a kind, friendly teacher who cared about students. My family is very important to me, so I hope my legacy as a wife and mother is remembered by future generations. I want to be known as someone who served others and who always had a smile to share. The very last is my bibliography. So that is what your presentation could possibly look like. Thank you so much for being in the library and for working so hard to research these famous Oklahomans. I hope you learned about the importance of leaving a legacy of which you can be proud. The remaining work on your project will be done in your classroom with your teacher. So keep up the good work as you create your legacy projects. I am so excited to see what you have to share.